if you are able to see the screen, please.
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So we have discussed in our MRF legal entity, we went to cash and bank management. Here under setup, I have bank transaction types, bank transaction groups, bank reasons. These three topics we have discussed. We have created some bank transaction types, given them account, so cash deposits, cash payments, check receipts, electronic payments, UPI, credit card, bank fees, interest income, interest expenses. So we have we have created a list of bank transaction types. Then we have also given a main account specifically for certain purpose. So I told you that we will use it in bank reconciliation process. So I'll show you where we use it or why we use it. Okay. So for bank fees, we have created something called bank fees and charges main account, and we have given that main account or linked that main account to this particular bank transaction type. Okay, each minute thing will have its own value. Okay, if it is really an important topic, I'll keep stressing on the topic, and if it's not so important, I'll skip it or I'll just move forward in the course normally. So this looks small, but is important during bank reconciliations process. Okay, here also we have created a revenue account or income account like interest revenue and given it for the interest income code here. Then we have also grouped them accordingly. So it's according to the convenience of the client or requirement of them. Sorry, not bank groups, bank transaction groups. Excuse me. So we have created few groups, 3 groups actually. Cash group, check group, and electronic group. Under cash group, we have grouped 3 transaction types: cash deposits, payments, withdrawals. And check group, we have done check receipts, check payments, and post-dated check transaction types. Electronic, we have done electronic receipt and electronic payment. So this is a very simple configuration we have learned. Then we have created some bank reasons in the previous class. So this is the origin for cash and bank management module. That was the very first class that we have discussed. That was also a small class. I think we have discussed it for 15 minutes, not more than that. So today, let us progress in discussing about the cash and bank management module. Let's go for the further topics that we have to configure. We are still in the step of configuration in cash and bank management. Later we have process activities. Third, we have reports. So there are quite few reports in cash and bank. However, we are not done with the configuration set. So we'll start with the next step in configuring. Okay. The next topic that we're going to discuss in cash and bank management is bank groups. So that we have it here itself, cash and bank management, setup, and bank groups here. Just above the transaction types, we have bank groups. Cash and bank, setup, bank groups. So if I click on bank groups, I see it's empty. We don't have any. We'll create few. Okay. So bank groups are usually created to group the bank accounts or to list out the bank accounts according to the nature of the bank, or you can also group them according to the type of the account, like savings account, or current account, or FD account, anything. So, or else you can group them according to the name of the bank. Suppose my business is having multiple bank accounts with ICICI Bank. So I can group all those ICICI Bank accounts under a group called ICICI Group. In the same way, I have bank accounts, as suppose some 3 to 4 bank accounts with SBI Bank. So I can group them according to the SBI Bank Group, or just by the name SBI Bank Group. So whenever we create bank account, we'll normally assign a bank group. It's not compulsory that we have to assign a bank group to a bank account, but it somehow helps. Or how it helps is just having a very small usage of the bank groups. Generally, whenever we create bank group and update information here, if I click on update bank accounts, that same information will be updated to those bank accounts, which will be linked to this particular group. So we will link this group to bank accounts, right? So if there are 4 bank accounts to which this particular group we're going to create is linked, the same data will be shifted or updated on those bank accounts. This kind of data will also be available on the bank account page that we will discuss further. This will be copied to the bank account. That's simple. That's the only usage. As well, these bank groups that we create here can also be used for grouping vendor bank accounts or customer bank accounts as well, or used as a reference group for vendor banks and customer banks that we will see in accounts payable and accounts receivable. Okay. So let us try to create a bank account first. Sorry, bank group first. So I'll create a new bank group. I'll just give it as ICICI. Give a name ICICI group. Correct. Save it. I have something here called as routing number. Routing number is not a compulsory field that has to be entered. It is a maintainable field. You can either enter or not enter. But just like in our country, we have unique code for a bank. So wherever the account is opened, they'll give a unique code for that particular bank for that particular bank account that we have opened. So what is that code? Anyone? In India, whenever we open a bank account, we will get a code along with the bank account. So that code indicates the branch. Exactly.
IFSC number?
IFSC code. It indicates the branch or the location where this bank account is opened. In the same way, the routing number also indicates the branch or a location where this particular bank account is opened. Okay, that is specific. Routing number is mostly specific to US and Canada. Also in certain countries in UK or Europe, we'll use this routing number. So it depends. I mean, the number format will differ from country to country. Once again, in US they will use 9 number routing numbers, 9 series routing number. In Canada also they'll use 9 series routing number. Whereas it comes to Europe, they won't use 9 series. They'll use 6 series, I guess. So it's not mandatory that you have to give a routing number since it's a bank group. So you should definitely have bank accounts. Suppose if I have ICICI 4 bank accounts, for example, I will have one in one location and another in multiple locations I can open, or I can open all of them in the same bank or in the same location. It's according to me. So what you have to understand is how your client want to group them. So this is, I told you, right, this usage of this is very specific. I mean, very low, only for updation of details in the bank account. That's all. That you can also manually change in the bank accounts. Mostly they will have a maximum of 10 bank accounts, not more than 10 in a legal entity. In one legal entity, they'll mostly have 10, or some triple have only 1 or 2 bank accounts, some clients. Okay. So most of them do not use bank groups also. So there won't be any specific address for a group because I can have my ICICI banks in multiple, ICICI bank accounts from multiple branches. So there is no need of giving a specific address for this group. Suppose if I have all the accounts in a single branch, then I can give a specific address for the group. Not a problem. I'm not giving any address for the group here. I'll give the address in specific bank accounts. When we create bank accounts after this setup, I'll give the groups. I'll give the address there for each bank separately. Okay. Then coming menu by menu, this is address menu. We can add address if you want to. I'll show you in a bank account how we can add address. I'm closing this part. This general part. This one here is the routing number formats that you want. FW indicates US. 80 is for Austria, Belgium. Some CH means I think Switzerland or something. So in the same manner, we can select whatever format of routing number you want. So if you want to use routing number, you can choose. If it mostly, as I told you, US people will use routing number. Then you can give FW format, and you can give the 9 digits here in the format. If you don't want, just select it as none. Routing number is not required. Whereas if even though you select India in the legal entity, suppose while we create legal entity to get the Indian localization features, we have to select the legal entity country code as India, right? Suppose for if at all we need Indian features, even though you don't get IFSC code box here in this field, that's not the available in Dynamics actually. Normally they used to give it under Swift code or IBAN number. IBAN number somewhere we have, here we don't have. We can add the field if we want to. So those are the few things that you have to understand. I mean, like country specific, it changes from country to country. Routing number is there in few countries. IFSC code we have here in India, whereas you move to other country clients like Middle East or somewhere or somewhere in Europe, they will use different numbers, unique codes for their banks along with the bank account number. They'll have their unique codes to maintain. So they will give you all the details. I mean, the client will give you all the necessary details that has to be filled on a bank account, or you can share a detailed document of what are the fields that can be added in Dynamics. So that client will give what all the information they have within that field. So you can fill the same data into the fields. Okay. So having this data into the bank master or bank group is useful for printing of some electronic reports or some payments, or in case of some customizations to pick the data from those master fields that you have added. So that will be helpful. So in few countries they will use this electronic payment formats, export formats with there is a workspace called electronic reporting. Through that they will export the electronic reports, or they'll configure the electronic report and use them for exporting the payment transactions like vendor payments or customer payments. So they can be printed. I mean, mostly the vendor payments can be printed. So for that purpose, they use this electronic reports. So those electronic reports mandatorily demand certain kind of codes to be compulsorily added to the bank account or bank group. Most not bank group, mostly for the bank account, you have to add certain fields like this company ID. Okay. So at this point, I think I can't explain everything that which is specific to which country, but going forward, you will definitely understand. Okay. So this company ID is something that bank gives for your company. Suppose if you are registered with a bank and you have opened an account, and you know bank knows that you are not a person, it's a entity. It's a company or a legal entity. A bank will give a unique code. Guys, can you please mute yourself, all of you? Okay, thank you. So company ID is something unique that bank gives for your company. Suppose when you register with a bank, so they will give you a unique code for you. So this company ID will be helpful for you to print on any instruments like checks or any other bank instruments like bonds, or if you have anything else like promissory notes or that comes through bank or that had to be put into the bank. You can print the unique company ID that has been given by bank to you. Or you can also print it on any other document that are used as an exchange for money in banks. Okay, that company ID mostly for electronic payments. For exporting electronic payment files, you need company ID to be configured in the bank account definitely. Then you can give a currency to this group, any currency, INR or USD or anything. So I'll give US dollar. So whenever I create a bank account and I assign this group to that bank account, it will automatically take the currency as US dollar. And you can change it in the bank account if you want to. Okay, if you don't give any currency here, bank will not take that currency and you have to manually assign the currency. Suppose there is a if you create another bank group for foreign currency transactions, or if it is a group for foreign bank accounts, then you can give a foreign currency other than US dollar. You can give any other currency out of your accounting currency. Okay, and few more important things are this Swift code, suffix and drawer, or not so important. Swift code is excuse me. Swift code is also a common code like IFSC code, which is given by Canadian and US banks for funds transfer from other countries. I feel so. Actually, we use Swift code when we have to transfer funds from India to US or India to Canada somewhere. So That's the unique code that that bank holds or that account hold that account. I mean that particular branch have for SWIFT transfer or electronic or online transfers from one place to another place. Then suffix and drawer or something that we have on the check mostly, or if the bank account holds any suffixes or the bank holds any suffix and drawer that has to be printed on any instruments, that can be given in this part. So the most important is having a routing number or not having the currency and the SWIFT code if you have any. But as I told you, it's not mandatory that you have to fill all these details in the group. You can give it in the individual bank accounts also. Suppose there is any editing here if you have done and you want to update everything that you have updated here for all the banks that are linked to this bank group, then you can add the data here and click on update bank accounts. Then all the data that you add here will be shifted to the bank accounts as well, or it will be rewritten in the bank accounts. This in the new data will be updated in the bank accounts if we link this group to those bank accounts that we create. Okay. Coming to the next menu, we have contact information. You can add name of the person whom you need to contact in the bank, telephone number, extension for the telephone number, mobile number, fax, SMS address, email ID, internet address if you have any for the bank, telex number. It's a kind of communication. You can add these details normally. You can add a person name, you can add a mobile number. I'll add that in individual bank account, not in the group. Okay, I'll show you how this will be helpful. Then I can give bank statement, bank name in the statement. Suppose if I'm getting bank statements from the bank, or for advanced reconciliation purpose, if I'm importing any statements, then what is the name in the, what should be the bank name in the bank statement? So I'll call it as ICICI bank should be the name. So if in that case, what is the statement format? So the statement format actually we have to configure in there is a state formatting for this actually. So this job is mostly done by technical consultants, and we dealt the import on the paths are configured by technical consultants only. So you can normally see it from right click and go to statement. Here you can create any if you want, but that again needs a lot of configuration that goes on step by step backwards. Again, you have to click on view details. Again, you have to go to other page and configure all those things. Okay, that this formatting and all we are not going to use in this particular course. Okay, so let's skip this part. I'll tell you what is most important in reconciliation further in the process. Okay, these are the very few things that we have in bank group. It's a very small configuration, nothing so much particular about this bank groups. I can create one more bank group called SBI. We'll just give the name as SBI bank group. It's all. So these details you can give if you want to, or you can give them in the individual bank accounts that we are going to learn, configure now. So clear guys, creating bank groups, it's a very simple setup. All of you? Bala,
Yes.
Saideep, Shiva.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So if bank groups is clear, then we'll go and create a bank account. Okay, let's see how we can create a bank account. So to create a bank account, we have to be here in cash and bank management. The very first menu we have is bank accounts, and within that I have is bank accounts here. Cash and bank management, bank accounts and bank accounts. Click on bank accounts. See, we don't have any bank account yet. So it's a dummy account. I think I can delete this. So let's create a new bank account. Let me click on new. Here I see routing number, none or any format if you want according to the country that you're configuring this for. So I don't use routing number. I'm not giving a routing number. Then it asks me the bank account name. I can give the bank account name. I'll give it as ICICI 1. Or you can give any unique name. If the branch is opened in Hyderabad, you can say ICICI Hyderabad, ICICI Bangalore, ICICI Chennai. You can give anything, any name. Or you can also have your unique codes, like if at all the bank account number is ending like this 004 or 009 or 1563 like this, you can give the unique last number of the bank and bank account number, so that it would be easy to identify or recognize. It's up to the client's requirement. Once again, having formats or naming them is however the client wish. You have to configure in the same way. So I'll just give it as ICICI bank number 1 normally. So if you had selected a routing number format, you could have given a routing number here, but I'm not selecting a routing number format, so I'll leave this as empty. Okay, then I have bank account number. So every bank, whenever we open a bank account, we'll definitely have a unique account number. So we can give that account number here. So I just gave a unique account number like this. Okay. Then the most important part in the bank account configuration is assigning a main account. So you should give a main account for the bank account. Even though you have created a bank account, you have to definitely create a main account for the bank account purpose, and you have to link that main account here in the bank account. And for each bank account, you have to create a unique main account compulsorily. So that's something very important that you have to remember. You should not use the same main account for all the banks. So you have to create unique main account for each bank account, and you have to use them. You have to you do not have to post any manual transactions using those main account. That main account has to be used only as a reference account for this bank account. Whenever you do any transactions using this bank account, system will automatically debits and credits the main account that is linked here in the main account field in the bank. Okay, suppose if you're paying vendor and your bank account is created, this main account that is linked here also will be credited, and a credit balance will be posted for the main account in the trail balance as well as in the voucher. Okay, this will act as a reference account or a back-end account for the bank account that you have created. So that is why every bank should have a unique main account. As well, you should not allow your users to post any manual transactions using that main account in general ledger or in any other module. Okay, that account has to be stopped for manual entries. Okay, now I am going to create a main account for this bank account, and someone should guide me how I can stop that main account or stop the users from using that main account for manual transactions. Okay, so I am creating a main account here. Just right click here and click on view details. I'm in the main account space, as we all know this. I'll click on if. I'll give a number. Okay, I'll give a number as 1,03,000. ACI 1 bank. Then what is the account type, guys?
Asset.
Of course, asset. All the cash and bank accounts are always assets. So I'll save this. Now my requirement is that no user should use this main account for straight entries. So in general ledger, we create entries, right? We use expense account, we use cash account. In the same way, nobody should use this account. So then what I have to do?
So there is administration where you have the option of do not allow manual.
So
Click on
I have this option called do not allow manual entry. Okay, so remember that whenever we are assigning any account as an alias account for any bank account or a vendor or customer or vendor group or customer group or in any other subledger modules, always make sure that no user will use it by enabling this option do not allow manual entry. So those accounts will be helpful for reconciliation process. So as I told you, whenever I debit or credit the bank account, when I use and I link this account, right? So this account will be parallelly debited and credited along with the main account. The main account balance for this account will be debited and credited along with the bank account. So the bank account balance will be maintained in cash and bank management module, whereas the back end main account balance will be available in general ledger module. I told you, right? General ledger is the heart and link for every module. So in the same way, for vendors and customers also, we'll have accounts in the back end. For a group of vendors or for all the vendors, we'll have 1 or 2 accounts according to the client's wish. So that account balances will be maintained here in general ledger separately. Okay, I'll show you how it works. I mean, we have time still. We can post some transactions using the bank account, and I'll show you how the account will be affected. Okay, so I'm saving this, and we all know that I have stopped it for manual entry. I'm closing it. Coming back to the main account, in the bank account field, I am giving the main account here, 1,03,000, right? I've given the ICICI One bank main account that we have created for the ICICI One bank, right? I can give a name for my bank. It's up to you again. It's a descriptive name you can give. It's a short name that we have given here, ICICI One. I can give it as ICICI. Anything you can give. Hyderabad 210. So I added this last 3 digits of the bank account as well. ICICI Hyderabad 210. And here you can see you can add a bank group. So it's not compulsory. If without bank group also you can save this. See, it's saved. ICICI is created. Once you create, you will get the name and details here. But you can add the bank group. Here we have the 2 bank groups, right? ICICI and SBI. Since this falls into ICICI group, I'm selecting ICICI group. Save it. So here I can maintain a currency for the bank account. I can maintain US dollar or foreign currency, anything. So since this is US dollar is the accounting currency, by default I see US dollar here. Okay. Then I see an option here, allow transactions in additional currencies. Suppose if I'm using this bank account and if I want to post transactions in any other currencies like Canadian dollar, euro or Indian rupee, anything, can system allow or not is the question here. So if I say yes, system will allow. Using this bank account, you can also do foreign currency transactions or pay or receive money in foreign currency as well. That's what it meant to. You can say that allow or not allow is within your hands, and this option or this parameter will handle it. Then I have this details, active from and active to. So you can say this bank account is active from so and so date and will be active to until 30th of September only. From the next day, it won't be active anymore. After 30th of September, it won't be active. From the October 1st, this bank account will become inactive. Okay. So here it's a for temporary suspensions, or if you want to stop using this bank account anymore in your business, you can say this. You can use this option. So September 30 is the final date that you want to use the bank account. Going further, you are not going to use it. So you can give an active from and active to date. Not most of them will use it, but there is an option if you want to use it. Then there is also bank account status here, which is also kind of temporary suspension. Active for all transactions is by default, which means it will be active for all the transactions, payments, receipts, everything, on already created transactions or to be created transactions, everything. So here I have one more option called inactive for new transactions, which means like this bank account will be inactive for any new transaction that are going to be created further, that is not created yet. Okay. So what will we have other than that are going to be created? There are some transactions that would have been created where bank account is used but not posted yet. Or there are some transactions that are scheduled to be posted in further dates that uses the same bank account. So those transactions can be posted, or those transactions can be taken forward for posting. That's what it meant. So okay, inactive for new transactions means other than those transactions that are saved as draft or are scheduled to be posted. Any new transactions are not accepted for this bank account. Only those few transactions that are in the queue can be used, posted. That's what it meant to. Inactive for all transactions means going further, may it be saved transaction or drafted or scheduled or anything cannot be posted, or this bank account will be temporarily suspended for every transaction if I select this inactive for all transactions. Right? So you'll keep it as active since we have to do more transactions. Understood, guys? Any confusion in this? 3? Yes, no?
Yes, Jay.
Understood? Okay.
Sir, last point, sir. Inactive of all transactions.
Inactive for all transactions means it will not be available for posting any transaction. So may it be already created transaction before you are inactivating it. Even though if you have created the transaction or it is in draft status or scheduled to be posted later, it will not be posted. System will stop posting those transactions saying that this bank account is inactive. Okay. Any transaction using this bank account cannot be posted. That's what inactive for all transactions meant to. So I'll keep it
So,
as
JP,
active. Session.
ఇప్పుడు అది మనం ఇన్యాక్టివ్ పెట్టేసాం అనుకో,
Hmm.
తర్వాత మళ్ళీ మనం పోస్ట్ అనుకుంటే మళ్ళీ దాన్ని టెంపర్ అంటే మీన్
Yeah, you can.
చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా.
Yes,
Oh.
you can change it back to active again. No problem.
ఓకే ఫైన్.
Then I have a field called credit limit. So what is meant by credit limit? Anyone?
I mean, beyond a point where you can't extend the credit, it's like.
Yes, banks usually give you overdraft limit, right? Whenever you do business, generally gives you overdraft limit and they'll give you a time frame when you have to settle that overdraft, by which 10 days or 15 days or 1 month they'll give a time frame. So the maximum of credit limit that a bank can allow, which means a overdraft balance that a bank can allow, maximum credit that bank can give to us, that we can add here. Suppose the maximum is 50,000. So minus 50,000 is what I'll give here. So it should be in minus number. Okay, don't forget, because we are taking credit from bank, right? So it should be minus 50,000. So whenever the bank balance is going to exceed minus 50,000, system will stop saying that the bank balance is going beyond the credit limit or beyond the overdraft balance. So you have to stop doing this transaction. You can't credit the bank more than 50,000. I mean, if you don't have any balance in the bank account, if it is 0 and you can only do 50,000 transaction or payments using the bank account, or you can credit the bank account in Dynamics only for 50,000, not more than 50,000. Okay. So the maximum allowed limit for the bank account is up to minus 50,000. It's not for each transaction. If you have bank balance, you can do transaction for any amount. Suppose if you have 10 lakh rupees, you can easily do a transaction for 1 lakh rupees, or you can credit the bank account for 1 lakh. It's when you don't have a balance and bank is giving you overdraft, then the maximum overdraft or the credit limit that you can take from the bank is 50,000. Okay. If you are going beyond 50,000, system will stop throwing an error saying that you are exceeding the credit limit. Okay. This is for this. Okay. Then so these are the few important things we have here in this part. So this positive pay is actually something that we are not going to discuss, and not vividly used by users. I mean, by clients. This positive pay option. Normally for this we have to configure a format again here. Then we have to give that format and give a start date for that. So this is actually for high value checks or the checks with large number of huge amounts. We'll configure this positive pay details. Okay, so the very important are these few that we have discussed in deep. Okay, having the account number, unique account number, framing it, then giving a bank account number, then giving a main account to the bank, then the group, currency, and the active status of the bank. and this parameter that allows the bank transactions in additional currencies. Okay. Then menu by menu, we have a lot of options that you can give for bank accounts. So these are the unique codes that we have for bank accounts. SWIFT code for a bank account, IBAN number for a bank account, then company ID, your company ID that is registered with the bank, or the bank gives you a unique company ID for your company for having a bank account with them. So that company ID, any other codes related to same. This is for Bank's automated clearing system, BACS code, ESR codes. So all these data is not compulsory that has to be filled. Okay. Not most of them, not any. I don't see any of the clients using a lot of data, or even though they have filled the data, they don't use it for any purpose from here. Okay. Until and unless they have a customization which routes them to the bank, and having automatic payments, which always needs compulsory detail that has to be filled in this. For standard process in Dynamics, we don't have all this to be filled in. But if the bank gives you all these details and wants to maintain everything in the bank account, then you can fill these details. It's just an additional information that can be added to your bank account. Okay. Then you have something for payment management. So the maximum discount amount that you can give for remittance of maximum discount amount granted for current bank account. The amount is displayed in the bank remittance page is what it is saying. So normally you pay amounts to vendors or any other person. So the maximum discount that can be done through or taken through the bank account is what it indicates. The thing that indicates is the same actually. But we will generally deduct the cash discounts in the whatever modules we have, vendor accounts payable or accounts receivable itself. So I don't think that's more relevant here to have this option, but still they have one. Suffix and drawer are something that we have for banks. So normally they'll have this unique suffix and drawer codes for banks that can be printed on checks, or that will be already printed on checks that bank gives. So that indicates normally that uniqueness of the check given by the bank, normally the suffix and drawer codes. Then pre-notes is something that we have that we used in US. So these options we don't have any because these are disabled or not available for US location. Then these are the few things that you can understand. Having a charge group for non-sufficient funds and non-sufficient fund payment journal. Assume that I have issued a check to a customer. Okay, when I don't have funds in my bank account, what happens? I have given a check to my customer for 1 lakh rupees and I don't have that much of amount in my bank account. Okay, vendor to my vendor. Okay, vendor took the check and kept it in the bank account. Then what happens, guys?
Check will bounce.
Of course, the check will get bounced. And then bank will charge you fine for giving such checks without bank accounts. And if it bounces 3 times, they'll take legal action also against you or your company. Okay, in case a check gets bounced, we have to pay some amount to the bank, right? So that charges for having non-sufficient funds in the bank, that can be given here, the charge group that we have to configure actually, and the payment journal that is used here for settling those charges that are charged by the bank. So you can use any, but here it generally takes customer payment journal for sending money to bank. I think so. It's mostly customer payment journal is the option that we can use. You can configure a journal as NSF payment journal. Can give it as a customer payment norm as an journal type, and you can use it here. Or nobody will do it this much specifically. If there is such kind of charge, they can normally post it in general ledger. Give a bank account for bank fees or expenses, give a description that's in a check bounce charge, and use the bank account for deducting the amount, or it will be deducted from your bank account right anyway. You can do that the same way. Then come to this part, reconciliation. So normally here all these things are disabled. Actually, this ICICI bank name in the statements ICICI Bank, it is coming from the group that we have given. We have given it in the group actually. From there it is coming. So here I have one option called advanced bank reconciliation. This one. We will not do advanced bank reconciliation in this because this demo environment does not support, and that needs some technical assistance as well for doing it. But we will generally discuss the overview of how advanced bank reconciliation works. This bank account, we do normal bank reconciliation only. Okay. If at all I enable advanced bank reconciliation, I can't remove it again. You should definitely use advanced bank reconciliation only for this bank account. You can't again change it back to no. Okay, by default it will be no, and let it be no until and unless it's planned that they should have advanced bank reconciliation. You should not enable this option, advanced bank reconciliation, for any of the bank account. Okay, once you enable it, you know there is no going back. You have to use advanced bank reconciliation, or you have to disable the bank account and create a new bank account further. For the same account, you have to create a new bank account and you have to temporarily inactivate this bank account. Okay, so we will discuss more on this part during reconciliation part. Okay, for now I'll just letting it go as no only, and we will use manual reconciliation process only for this bank account. Okay, then I have certain other fee journals relating to negotiable instruments. So negotiable instruments are something that can be transferred from a person to person or to a bank, like promissory notes, bills of exchanges, so checks. In that case, if there is any fees journal or collection fees amount or interest fees or invoice remittance fees, for that you can create separate journals here. You can use accounts here. Here you can create the journal, fees journal. You can use any of the journal which is having journal type as daily or allocation or periodic. Normally they'll use a daily journal only for this purpose, bank fees journal. So in case if you have any such transactions, like suppose bank will collect money from your customers instead of you, bank automatically collects. For that, bank again charges some money, so that will come under collection expenses fees. There are some discount interest fees. Enter the fee that is paid to bank account every time the discount interest is added to bills of exchange that is represented in a remittance file. Okay, so this is for paying fees to the bank on discount interest on your bills of exchanges. So again, invoice remittance fee is something we have. And this is the discount interest that is added to promissory note that are represented on an invoice remittance file. So when a vendor gives a promissory note, so when we give a promissory note to a vendor, so through bank, so then bank will charge some amount from us. So that will be here. So this is used only when we use promissory notes and bills of exchanges mostly. Okay. For check payment and check fees, we can normally use a fees journal there. I'll show you where we normally use a fees journal, or we can configure fees journals for individually for each negotiable instrument also, rather than giving it here. Okay, we'll use it for check in case if we need it, but nothing more to be stressed on this. Then here I have the option of adding an address to the bank account. I can add an address to the bank account. Since we did not give any address in the group, we don't see anything here. We can add an address here in the group for the bank account. I've given ICICI Hyderabad, right? We can give the address in detail here. So we can give the bank name ICICI Bank. You can give a postal code if you have. Then you can give a street name and details. I can say ICICI main branch, Gachibowli, Hyderabad. Then click on OK. That's how you add an address to the bank, and you have only one address. Okay, like in the legal entities, you don't have multiple address. You can't add multiple address to a bank because bank have only one address, right? So that one address only you can add. If you want to edit it, you have to click here again. Clear, that means it will remove everything. Edit means you can edit and make some adjustments in the address for the bank account here. Then you have contact information for someone whom you have to contact in the bank. Name, telephone number, mobile number, email address, SMS of any of the person like manager or any other person who is given as a allotted as a user for your business transactions. So he's someone who assists you always on your bank related issues from bank. So sometimes bank also gives such kind of provisions to businesses. So that person name and number details and can be added here in the contact information. And lastly, you can add a default dimension. Since this bank account is for Hyderabad, right? So I'll give MRF Hyderabad here. I mean, sorry, here. Where is this location here? Yeah, sorry. Hyderabad. You can give Hyderabad. So actually in account structure, we have configured location first, department next, and cost center next, right? So here in the master data, the default dimensions will not be in the order of account structure. They will be in alphabetical order. Okay, since C comes first, customers is in the first line. So in the MRF cost center department and locations until MRF and this hash is common, right? So in after that C comes first, D comes next, and L comes next, right? So they are in alphabetical order. Okay, do not get confused. Okay, but while you are doing any accounting or transactions, I mean data will be in this format only according to your account structure, one by one line. Okay, but in the representation of master data or while you see default financial dimension, they will be according to the alphabetical order. Okay, so when I was working in Microsoft support, someone raised a ticket for this saying that they are in alphabetical order, they want it in the account structure order, but it's not possible. I mean, it's the how the design is in Microsoft. So we have to convince the customer saying that it's how the design is, it can't be changed. Okay, it's not even easy to customize actually to rearrange the order because it has to be done in multiple pages. The master data will be there in a lot of pages. Okay, so that would be all about creating a bank account. Now I can see few things here in the top. Once after I configure the bank account, I can see transactions. I can see balance. Suppose if I click on balance, I see the balance is 0 because I don't have any balance. I did not do any transaction yet with this bank account. We can do it now. Okay. Then if I click on transactions, they're empty. I don't have any transactions yet. Then balance control. So balance control. What is balance control? Balance control inquiry. We have discussed in general lecture. Anyone? Anyone? Just
Yeah,
Before
we can give the balance inquiry so that we can see the, while posting a transaction, we can see the balance after journal and before journal.
Right. So then while we're doing this, I told you clearly that bank accounts are by default balance control accounts. So you can see the bank account balance anytime when you do any transaction, even though you use the bank account or may not use it, but you will see it in the journal balance control inquiry. Same way, if you click here in the balance control, it generally shows the balance in the bank and where it is used and how much will be there after posting those journals and all. But for this bank, we did not book it in any journal or neither posted any journal nor having any balance. So everything will be 0 here. We'll come back once again here after posting some transactions and see it. Okay. Then we have reconcile, which we will discuss in the further part of our course. Manage payments, where we can configure checks and other instruments. We'll configure checks tomorrow's class or maybe in the next class. After that, we'll do reconciliation. Okay. I mean, actually we do it in the setup itself here, configuration. Then we'll come back here to check how many checks and deposit slips are posted for this bank or for this bank account. And all this can be checked here in the manage payments option. Okay, if I click on checks, I don't have any checks, right? We don't have any checks, so it's empty. We'll create few checks also. further. So now, is it clear about how to create a bank account and give you unique details here? All of you. So now I'm here and I have my bank account. Then if it is really clear, then we can do a transaction using this bank account now. So I'm going to general ledger. So we don't have any journals that can be posted in cash and bank management. Okay, don't forget it. We have to do it through general journals only. So or a vendor payment journal, customer payment journal, anywhere you will use the bank account, the transaction will be linked to this bank account and will be available here in the bank accounts. Okay. So I'm going to general journal. Since it's Friday, and let's add some amount to our bank account in the perspective of Indian ideology. So let's add some revenue, or let's get some revenue and debit our bank account with that revenue amount. Okay, see here, I'll create a new journal. You go for normal revenue journal where I can add some revenue. Go to lines. Right. Then I can use my revenue account. So let's choose one revenue account. What are the revenues we have? No, sorry, let's begin with the 4 series. Business revenue, sales revenue, subscription revenue, interest revenue. Let's go for this. Business revenue, Hyderabad location. From marketing department, cost center 1 is automatic because we have created an advanced rule. Whenever we use Hyderabad, we need to get cost center 1. Okay, it's automatically populated. Perfect. Then, so what do we do for revenue? Debit or credit?
Credit.
Debit the bank account.
Okay, bank account will be debited. Revenue account will be always credited. Okay, so I am receiving some $30,000 into my bank account here. 30,000 credited for this account. And coming here, offset account type. Until now, we have used ledger and cash or petty cash or any other accounts. Today I'm changing it to bank here. Changing from ledger to bank. Now if I drop down the offset account list, I can see the bank account, ICICI one, which we have created. Okay, to remember this, if you use ledger account, you can only see your ledger accounts, all the ledger accounts that you have, main accounts, but you have to change it to bank account in order to use the offset account as bank. Okay, my offset account now I'm using is bank and it's ICICI Bank. And since I'm crediting the revenue account, the money will be debited to the offset account. We know that how it works. So now 30,000 will be debited to my bank account. In my books, I'm debiting the bank account means I'm adding money into my bank account. Okay, so 30,000 voucher is balanced. I can validate this and I can post it. So there is an error. You must select a value in customers field in the combination with the following dimension values that are valid. Main account 1,03,000. 1,03,000 is the account that we have created for our bank account, right? Here for ICICI Bank. Location is selected, department is automatically selected from here. But it is asking that customer value has to be selected. We have given a advanced rule that for all the asset accounts, customer dimension value must be definitely filled. Okay, for that purpose, since we are using asset account here, ICICI Bank, right? So behind that bank, what account we have? 1,03,000, which is an asset account. So for that account, it is asking dimension, but we can't add dimension here. Here there is no option for dimension for adding for bank account. How can we do that now? Anyone in the class? I want to add a financial dimension customer to this bank account ICICI one here. How can I do that?
Click on functions.
Functions.
No. Okay. Okay.
Anyone else? Come on, give it a try. We have
Yeah,
discussed this
here
part.
there is an option called financial dimensions, right? Voucher, after the voucher, we can see.
This one, yes.
Yeah.
So when I click on it, whenever you use any ledger account, whenever you use any other account like vendor, fixed asset or customer or bank, other than a
Yeah.
main ledger account, you see this option.
Yes.
Suppose
Yes.
if I use bank account here, I see the account active. Since I'm using it in the offset account, I see offset account is active under financial dimensions. If I click here, I can see all these things filled up automatically from here. But for customers, I don't have one field. I have to select a customer. I'll select one customer. Now if I validate this journal, it will be okay. See, the journal is okay enough and I can post it. So what happened now? We have deposited some amount into our bank. So I should have used that bank transaction type actually. I'm sorry for that, for not using it. For the next transaction, I'll use it definitely. Okay. So actually that will be somewhere here or here in the journal. Here bank transaction type can be filled here under payment. But we forgot to use it, but no worries. Well, here also we have the option. I mean, in the line itself, we'll use it from the next transaction. So now we have deposited 30,000 into our bank account, right? So let's go to our bank account, select the bank account, click on balance. See here, the bank balance is 30,000. Clear? All of you? Let us go back to the journal that we have posted and see the voucher. So if I open the voucher, what will be the entry or transaction? Can somebody assume?
ICICI account, bank account debited. Sorry. Yeah.
Of course, ICICI bank account will be debited.
Yeah, debited. And the revenue account will be credited.
Right. So let us see the voucher. Click on voucher. So you can see here ICICI Bank 1,03,000, the account that we have given for the bank account here in the bank master. I've given a main account, right? That account is debited, and 4 lakh account, which is a business revenue account, is credited usually. So this account we have manually selected, right? But this account is automatically selected. Once we have selected the bank account in the journal, the main account that is linked to the bank account will be automatically selected for the debiting and crediting purpose of that bank account. So for the purpose we have selected a bank account in the journal. So for that we have see bank balance here in the bank account 30,000. In the same way, if I go to trial balance and run the trial balance, I can see balance in this main account also. 1,03,000 account will be debited with 30,000. So I'll show you how it will show up. I'm sorry if I'm running quick between my screens. General ledger, trial balance here. Change it back to main account only and calculate balances starting from 1st January to 31st December. Previous calendar. Here you see ICICI Bank 1,03,000 main account that we have created and linked to the bank account, and you see debit balance of 30,000 and the closing balance is the same 30,000. Understood the logic behind having a main account for the bank? All of you? Any confusion in this, or you want me to explain once again? This is important. So based on this, we will do lot of transactions going further. Come on, guys.
Understood.
Okay. I'll do one more transaction. This time a payment transaction using the bank account. Okay. Quickly, I'll do journal. I'll go for lines. I'll pay an expense. Okay. So I will choose an expense account, which is my 5 series. I will pay some other expenses. Okay. Then I'll debit the expense account with some $10,000. And how to use a bank account?
Select the offset account type as a bank.
Perfect. Then select the bank account. ICICI, right? Then we have to give a financial dimension customer actually, since that is an asset account. We'll give it here. Select customer. Yes, this one. I'll also select a cost center because whenever I have Hyderabad location here, cost center is compulsory. As far as I remember, the advanced rule 1. No, sorry, advanced rule number 2. Okay. Give me a second. Let me plug in my charger. All right. What's wrong? My mouse. 1 second. So I'll click on OK. Then I can validate this journal to see if there are any missing dimensions or any prerequisites that are needed to be added to the journal. So journal says it is okay, and we can.
So can you please use the bank transaction type as well?
Oh, perfect. Thanks for reminding. Here we have bank transaction type under payment, or else you can also add this field into the line itself here. If I scroll it right, here I have bank transaction type automatically. You can select what transaction, since you are doing payment, right? So let's go for cash payment. Let's go for any other payment, check payment. Since you are not using check, no need of check payment. You can use anything, electronic payment or any. I'll just use this cash payment option. Okay, I am directly giving some cash from my bank account. Okay, not using any other method. So bank transaction type is cash payment. I've selected. Save and post it. Now what happened? There is a credit for my bank account, or 10,000 is paid from my bank account for some expense. Now what will be my bank balance?
20,000.
Okay, so let's see what is my bank balance here. Here it is 20,000. If I want to check what are the transactions that are posted for my bank account until now, I can click here on transactions. You can see here, right? Transactions. Click here. You can see 2 transactions. One is with revenue journal voucher with 30,000 positive balance, which means balance is added to your bank or debited to your bank. And you see journal number 2, and you can see transaction type here. We have added, right, 0 to cash payment. So that is here 10,000. So you can, if you have a lot of transactions, you can filter what are cash payments you have done by filtering with 0 to number. Or if you want to see checks, means you can go with check payment or check receipt, anything you can filter with this filter option you have. You can give 0 to only, then you can see transaction codes with 0 to only. I mean, if you have a list of transactions with 0 to, you can see all of them. And you can also remove the filter the same way that you have added it here. Clear? So these are the 2 transactions we have posted, and if we will post more transactions going further. So for now, I think this would be all for today's class, and we can also see the voucher that is posted for this transaction. Click on voucher. You see expense account is debited. All right. And 1,03,000 account, which is the ICICI 1 bank account. I mean, the ledger name of the account is this only, right? That is credited with 10,000. Now if I go to trial balance and let me rerun this trial balance once again. And you can see ICICI Bank 30,000, 10,000, closing balance is 20,000. It is debited for 30, credited for 10, and the closing balance is 20. So always the account that is behind the bank account, the closing balance of the bank account has to match with the bank balance here. 20,000. Okay, that is why we use unique main account for each bank account. And as I told you, that account is stopped for posting manual entries, right? So if at all I try to create any journal or use that account for manual transactions, suppose let us see here in this journal, let me go for lines. It's an existing journal. Okay, here there is already a expense account. I am reviewing this offset account. I'm keeping a bank account. No, sorry. I'm giving ledger account only, but I'm using the ledger account which we have given for the bank account. 1,03,000 account here. See here, I have a warning already. What is that message? Value 1,03,000 is not allowed for manual entry. Enter another value. System directly says you can't use that account for manual entries because we have stopped it for manual entries, right? So here again you see value is not allowed for manual entry, enter another value. User can't post a transaction using this main account directly. It's always the bank account that has to be used. I mean the bank account that we have created. If we use bank and bank account, then this account can be debited and created according to the way that we treat the bank account. But manually, no user can use that bank account because if they post transactions manually, what happens? What happens, guys, if somebody posts this transaction manually? Anybody have any idea? Anyone? Just assume and say what happens if user uses this account manually, and if we allow this and post transactions, what happens?
Actually, it will not be posted, right? I mean, every time he tries to do something, a message will be.
If at all we remove that remove that condition, suppose if user posts any transaction, then what happens?
There will be a double impact in that account.
It's not a double impact actually. Balance will be debited or credited. Whatever we do will be done for this main account. Suppose if I do 10,000 credit for this bank account, right? What happens? The account balance will reduce from 20,000 to 10,000. Correct? I mean, all of you understanding the logic, right? The account balance in trial balance will reduce from 20,000 to 10,000. But whereas if I come to bank account, the bank balance will still show as 20,000. It will not hit the bank account. It will only impact the general ledger balance or the trial balance of the main account only. But the bank account balance will still show as 20,000. Then there is a mismatch. Actually, if we use this bank account, I mean the account that is configured for bank in the journal, and if we are not stopping it for manual entries, and if some user uses the account directly rather than the bank account and debits or credit this account, what happens is the impact will be done in the trail balance. Suppose if we credit for another 10,000, here credit balance of 20,000 will be there. I mean another 10,000 will be added for credit. Closing balance will be 10,000 for the main account, ICICI Bank account or 1,03,000 account. Okay, but that will not affect the bank account here. The bank account balance will still show as 20,000 only. So there will be a mismatch of balances between the main account that is linked to the bank and the bank account here. Correct? So that cannot be erased again. Again, you have to debit the ledger account that user have credited, and you have to make the balances similar or in line. So for that purpose, we will stop those accounts for posting manual transactions, or stop users from using those accounts for manual transactions. Okay, that account has to be debited or credited whenever this particular bank account is used in journals. Okay, accordingly, we debit and credit the bank account. The main account behind this bank account will be debited and credited, and this account will not be allowed for using in manual entries. Okay, that is why we are keeping this condition and stopping it from users. Understood, guys? Understood the logic? In the same way, we'll give accounts payable account, accounts receivable accounts for vendors and customers. There also it will represent the total vendor balance, or I mean the total amount of all the vendors combined balance with the accounts payable account balance, main account balance. The same way accounts receivable main account balance will represent all the existing customer balance. Okay, if they post it manually using that account, balances will be posted in general ledger, but they will not get affected in accounts payable or accounts receivable and bank module like this. The vendor balance, customer balance will remain same, but the account balance will differ, which creates a reconciliation issue between general ledger and sub ledgers. So cash and bank management is a sub ledger. If we do such manual transactions using these accounts, the mismatches happen between general ledger balances to the bank balances, which is wrong. Okay, that is why we stop these accounts from being used in the manual entries, so that user can't post this entry anymore because system will not allow the user. It's a very important and key point in understanding how dynamics function, or how this has to be handled. These kind of accounts has to be handled. Clear, all of you? Seshu, Vamsi, Sushila.
Yeah, clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tomorrow, I mean, may not be tomorrow. Actually, we'll continue from Monday. Okay. From Monday, we'll create another main bank account as well. We'll do more transactions. From then, we'll complete our cash and bank management module in the next, further classes. Okay. Until then, practice it here. Until here, create bank groups. You can create as many groups as you want, as well as create a lot of bank accounts and try to post transactions and see the voucher impact, trial balances, as well as the bank balances. Okay. And do not forget to give bank transaction types for each bank account that you give. So you can find it here under the payment. Whenever you use bank account, you can give a bank transaction type here. Normally, it will automatically show up here in the line if you use bank transaction type, or you can add a field here in the line itself. You can right click here in the end. You can personalize this overview grid, and you can click on add a field. And once you click on add a field, you can see the fields available or fields for addition. You can see bank transaction type field here. The same way you can search if at all it is hiding somewhere. You can add it, click here, and you can click on insert. So once you click on insert, it will get inserted here. Okay, if you want to move it, actually there is an option to move it also. Actually, in the same way, personalize, you have the option of moving. You can click on alt and click on left arrow or right arrow if you want to move it left and right. Okay. That would be all, guys, for today's class. To practice until here. So I still have some impact in my throat, so I think it will be cleared by this weekend. We can resume our classes by normally from Monday. If at all it's paining, or doctor suggested me to take rest or not stress it more. If at all it's going, we can have a guest lecturer or someone who can take over. Not take over completely, take some guest lectures for 1 or 2 topics in between, if at all I have to rest my throat. Okay, I promise that it would be of a good quality. If at all somebody is coming in and teaching also, don't worry, but I will be the one who will handle everything and take care of. Okay, so I'll stop recording until here. So it's